Guys, they're doing it again. It's only July, and they're doing it again. Now, I understand that it has become a refrain on this channel that they're doing it again. So, which it is this that they're doing again? Well, they are usurping the Kansas City Chiefs' credit prior to the season starting in order to make whatever it is that they accomplish appear as if it is, in fact, less impressive than it is to be. Now, the very thing in question is a third straight Super Bowl. A third straight Super Bowl victory. That is what is at stake for the Kansas City Chiefs. Something that happens in the NFL every 15-ish years. Very rarely in the NFL does someone have the opportunity to three-peat. You have to first win a Super Bowl, and then, infinitely more difficult, win a second Super Bowl before you get the opportunity to win a third Super Bowl. But the Kansas City Chiefs are in that rare position where they could win a third consecutive Super Bowl, and if they pull it off, it would be for the first time in NFL history. The Steelers never did that in their heyday. The Packers, that was prior to the Super Bowl era when they were at their greatest. Patriots? Nope, never did it. So, this preseason, we are being greeted with articles that are titled the following: Kansas City Chiefs' path to third straight Super Bowl may be too easy. This is not good news. Written by Sayer Bettinger, which is a wild name. Now, I was introduced to this article from the Arrow Headlines article on Arrowhead Pride, so be sure to check out that article in the least. You don't have to check out the original article. You should, but you don't have to. I'm going to sum it up. The thrust of this article is that the AFC West is very bad. And so, like the Patriots playing in the AFC East for all of those years, where no one was any good at football, we shouldn't give the Kansas City Chiefs credit. And I'm going to run down what they say about these AFC West teams just for good measure, but it shouldn't matter. And at the end of this, I'll tell you exactly why. 23, Las Vegas Raiders. Aidan O'Connell is a big question mark for this team. If he plays at even an average level, the Raiders could surprise this upcoming season. The defensive line looks to be very imposing, and O'Connell isn't going to lack weapons on offense, as the team returns Davante Adams and Jacoby Myers, while featuring a two-headed monster at tight end. The AFC West looks relatively thin outside of the defending champion Chiefs. The defending two-time champion Chiefs. Sayer. So don't be too surprised if the Raiders can take advantage. PFF. 26, Los Angeles Chargers. So this is the number. So they have the Raiders ranked as the 23rd team in the NFL. 26, Los Angeles Chargers. While Justin Herbert's passing ability and the addition of Jim Harbaugh as head coach will cover up a lot of problems, this team is too thin at many key positions to be considered a serious threat in the AFC. The Chargers do have one of the easiest schedules in terms of... Now, I'm going to highlight this because we're going to get back to this in a minute. One of the easiest schedules in terms of 2023 records, but they don't appear to have the firepower to take advantage of that. PFF. 32, worst team in football, Denver Broncos. While Bo Nix seems to be set up nicely for success, I disagree. Denver's style of offense will struggle to keep up if the defense digs them into a hole. This offense isn't built to play from behind, unless several members across the defense step up in a big way. The team will struggle to make much noise in what is expected to once again be a strong AFC. That's all they have for the... Now, they shortchanged the Broncos a little bit, but by the time you get to the 32nd team in the NFL, I suppose that's understandable. This is how the article finishes out. 3 rosters in the Chiefs division considered to be among the 10 worst in the league going into this season. Everybody's perception of these teams will be different going into this season, but it's not hard to see how PFF could possibly be right. Now, Sayer, just read your article out loud. One of the best ways to proofread, one of the best ways to understand if what you're writing makes any sense, read it out loud. The Raiders have consistently been one of our sleeper picks to be picking first overall in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Chargers obviously have a new head coach in Jim Harbaugh and might be in a get worse before you get better kind of rebuilding mode after the last handful of seasons under Brandon Staley. The Broncos were 8-9 last year, but now have a rookie quarterback at the helm for Sean Payton, and they had to make some big cuts after taking advantage of a huge dead money hit by releasing Russell Wilson. The negative perception of the rest of the AFC West is understandable, and if PFF is right, the path for the Chiefs to get to their 3rd straight Super Bowl victory is simply far too easy. End quote. Nonsense. First of all, you don't win the AFC West and find yourself birthed to the Super Bowl. You have to go through the playoffs. The playoffs are generally considered to be a collection of pretty good teams. Sometimes a stinker sneaks in, but more often than not, that stinker is eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. The round of the playoffs, by the way, that the Kansas City Chiefs have often been good enough through the entirety of the regular season to skip. Sayer, here's another thing. You want to rag on the AFC West, and that's understandable. Kind of. But it should be known that Patrick Mahomes is 30-5 in the AFC West during the entirety of his career, not during the last couple of seasons. That's an .857 winning percent. By the way, his worst winning percent is still above 500. It's against the AFC South, where he finds himself 7-5. His best winning percent is not the AFC West. It's actually the NFC South, where he is 5-0. He has a 1,000 batting average against the NFC South. And this dominance of the AFC West goes back to the time of Andy Reid pre-Mahomes. Andy Reid is 43-17 in the AFC West. Now, it could very easily be misconstrued that what I'm doing here is proving Sayer's point for him. That is not the case. I want you to go back and look at all of the different coaches, quarterbacks, high-end wide receivers, great defenses that have coursed through this division along the way, and none of it mattered. None of it mattered. Andy Reid has lost just 17 times against the AFC West. 17 times. Patrick Mahomes, just 5. Just 5 losses against the AFC West. Now, here's the bigger point to go against the sort of wild presumptions in this article. First off, I don't think Bo Nix is going to be good, okay? I didn't think any of the quarterbacks in last year's draft class were going to be good, and it turned out there was one that was pretty good. Maybe that's Bo Nix this year. I have no idea, right? Anything could happen in this division, and one of those teams ends up winning 12 games, whatever the case. It could be. there's something else that has to be said about this article and the verisimilitude of its of the painting put out there by its words. Verisimilitude, it does not accurately represent life to say that the Chiefs' schedule will be too easy. Here's why. In 2024, the Kansas City Chiefs will play the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, the 49ers, and the Buccaneers. All of these were division champions. In fact, their schedule is missing just two division champions, the Cowboys and the Lions. By the way, the 49ers, I don't know if you remember this, they were in the Super Bowl. They lost, but they were in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs in this upcoming season will also have to play the Browns and the Steelers, both of whom were playoff teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 playoff teams on their schedule, including the last team that the Kansas City Chiefs beat, who were also playing in the Super Bowl. The team, the 49ers, often accredited this preseason for some reason as having the best team in football. The Kansas City Chiefs will open the season with the Ravens and then the Bengals. The Bengals, by the way, conspicuously absent from this list due to injuries, not because they aren't good. They still won 9 games last year. I think at the conclusion of this season, hopefully at the conclusion of a third consecutive Super Bowl victory for the Kansas City Chiefs, we will look back at articles like this, because this is not an anomaly, and we will realize how silly it was to put out words like this. The first silly thing it is to say is that it could be too easy to win the Super Bowl. The reason it might seem that way is that the Kansas City Chiefs have done it so often lately. And before the Kansas City Chiefs started doing it, it was the Patriots that did it so often lately. The NFL is still the professional sport with the highest level of turnover. Still the professional sport with the most uncertainty at the beginning of every season. Still the professional sport with the highest incident of injury, the highest incident of serious injury, the highest incident of season-ending injury. And these things can change the perspective of any team. It is the professional sport, the professional American sport. I don't know much about hockey, so I can't make this claim about hockey, but soccer, basketball, baseball, all have careers of superstars seriously longer than the NFL. A superstar running back might only be at the top of his game for 3 or 4 seasons. That is not uncommon. There is high turnover in the NFL, meaning that the next batch of stars at the NFL level is never more than a couple snaps away from being forced into action. I don't say this because of the Chiefs, right? I don't say this because of how easy it would be for any team, including the Chiefs, to lose a primary contributor. What I'm saying this is because we don't know where the next superstar running back in the NFL will emerge and when. Personally, and this is not going to be popular on this channel, I think it might be Audric Estime with the Broncos. I know. Don't yell at me. I have my predictions, and that's one of them. But to write an article like this, and even in jest, suggest that, it could be too easy for the Chiefs, is to dilly-dally and play fair weather with greatness that is being earned by these men. It's disrespectful, honestly. It's disrespectful. The Kansas City Chiefs have earned every bit of praise along the way and have often found themselves on the receiving end of very little. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week talking exclusively about the Chiefs, and I hope to have you back for the next one.